Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're diving into what is honestly a masterclass in storytelling, John chapter 1. We're going to watch how the author masterfully funnels this grand cosmic narrative all the way down to intimate human interactions. It's an absolutely incredible piece of ancient literature, so let's break down exactly how it functions.
Here's our roadmap for today. First, the cosmic prologue. Then, the witness of John, the Word made flesh, and finally, calling the first disciples.
All right, let's jump right into part one, the cosmic prologue, the macro scale. Think about how this text actually opens. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. That is a massive statement, right? It brilliantly illustrates the philosophical weight the author is bringing to the table. By anchoring the narrative in the beginning, we establish this grand, eternal timeline long before any human characters even show up on the scene. We are completely outside of space and time. Now, to really grasp this, we got to define this concept of the Word. The author tells us it was there in the beginning, it was with God, it was God, and it actually acted as the agent of creation. Fun fact for context here, in the ancient world, the Word, or logos, was this huge philosophical buzzword for the organizing principle of the universe. So the author is taking that famous abstract idea and just dropping the hammer, stating all things were made by him, and positioning the Word as the ultimate literal source of life and light for all mankind.
And it builds right from there. We get this intense cosmic tension established right off the bat. Light versus darkness. The text reads, "And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not." The author is setting a totally dramatic, thematic stage for the historical events to follow. We now have our central conflict, this unquenchable light entering a darkness that literally cannot grasp it or overcome it.
Which brings us to section 2, the witness of John, the messenger. So, the narrative suddenly drops from the cosmos down to earth. And notice how the author defines this man, John the Baptist. It's actually through rapid-fire denials. When the investigating priests and Pharisees from Jerusalem ask who he is, John is quick to confess what he is not. He's not the light, not the Christ, not Elias, not that prophet. Instead, he strictly boxes his role in as just a witness to the coming light, calling himself simply the voice of one crying in the wilderness. He makes absolutely sure there is zero confusion between the messenger and the message.
Moving on to section 3, the Word made flesh, the incarnation.
This is where the text drops an absolute bombshell. And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us? Talk about a massive narrative shift. That cosmic Word from eternity past, the very agent of creation, it is now physically dwelling in a human tent, right here among humanity. The infinite has suddenly become intimately local, described as being full of grace and truth. To help the original audience really wrap their heads around the sheer magnitude of this, the text draws a direct historical line in the sand. It contrasts the ancient law given by the revered figure Moses with the totally new reality introduced by the Incarnation, saying grace and truth came by Jesus Christ. It is a clear literary signal that a totally new era has dawned.
Okay, section 4, calling the first disciples, the chain reaction.
Now zoom all the way in and notice how aggressively the author anchors this part of the story in a rapid chronological succession of days. We have day 1, where John sees Jesus coming. The very next day, 2 of John's disciples leave to follow Jesus. The day following that, Jesus goes to Galilee and finds Philip. The text takes this previously timeless cosmic story and suddenly grounds it into a highly specific time frame and location, right there in Bethabara beyond Jordan. And the catalyst for all of this rapid timeline movement is one dramatic declaration. Upon seeing Jesus, John the Baptist basically cries out, "Behold the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sin of the world." John recognizes him as the one who ranks before him, and boom, that's the narrative pivot point. That is exactly what kicks off the gathering of followers.
What happens next is just a classic grassroots chain reaction. The movement spreads entirely through personal, one-on-one invitations. Think about it. John points to Jesus. That leads Andrew to follow Jesus. Andrew turns around and immediately recruits his brother Simon. Then Jesus calls Philip, and Philip goes straight to recruit Nathanael. It's this incredible relational domino effect, showing us exactly how macroscopic change happens at a microscopic level.
Now, as these guys are introduced, the text actually goes out of its way to translate some of these specific ancient titles for the reader. When they say Messias, the author pauses to say, which is being interpreted the Christ. When Jesus names Simon Cephas, it's interpreted as a stone.
When they call Jesus rabbi, the text clarifies it means master. The author is breaking down language barriers to make absolutely sure we understand exactly who these characters believe they are encountering.
And watch the escalation here. It's wild. The recognition of Jesus by these new followers just skyrockets. Andrew starts off telling Simon they found the Messiah, but by the time we get to Nathanael, the titles escalate so fast. He starts off with Rabbi, Master, but after just a brief exchange, he bumps it all the way up to Son of God and King of Israel, all in one incredibly short conversation. These everyday human characters are rapidly grasping the crazy cosmic reality that was introduced back in the prologue.
Throughout this whole recruitment process, there's this simple, powerful phrase that becomes a repeating motif: come and see. Jesus uses it first, but then later, when Nathanael is being super skeptical, asking, can there any good thing come out of Nazareth? Philip doesn't even bother arguing theology with him. He just uses the exact same phrase, come and see. You know, it's a really powerful reminder that sometimes an invitation to a personal experience is vastly more effective than a debate.
Which brings us right to the end of the chapter. Jesus responds to Nathanael's sudden belief by essentially telling him, you haven't seen anything yet. He promises that hereafter they're going to see heaven open and the angels of God ascending and descending upon the Son of Man. It's a massive cliffhanger that ties the grounded, gritty human narrative right back to that grand cosmic reality we started with, leaving us to wonder. When you realize the macro scale of a story is operating right in front of you on a micro level, how does that change the way you read everything that follows?